there, it's Anonymous Tea, where we spill the tea anonymously. Hello, 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 everyone. Hello, YouTubers. Hope you guys are all having an amazing day today, sending good vibes, sending positivity, sending blessings, and good energy to each and every single one of you. Thank you so much for tuning in. So today we're talking Real Housewives of Potomac, and thank goodness, you guys, the season is over. The part 3 of the reunion aired last night. We put a bow on the season, but now we have some aftermath. We have some fallout that we need to discuss, right? So, Robyn Dixon confirms that she, in fact, is not coming back, says that she is fired, and that this was a network decision. Some people are upset that it's not Giselle over Robyn because they feel that Robyn would be, more willing to at least integrate more with the cast compared to Giselle. But we'll see how Giselle does without Robyn, right? We'll see how it goes, right? If she's going to switch up or how she's going to move, right? And then Robyn tries to throw shade because she says all of this in the podcast, tries to throw shade, basically saying, I didn't release a statement and trying to sugarcoat anything or put a big bow on it. I flat out was fired. And I'm thinking to myself, is that supposed to be shade at Candice? Because definitely Candice was, slated to come back, and she definitely has a storyline now, which we'll get to in a moment, right? Then also, quiet as it's kept, did you guys know that Johns Hopkins is no longer working with Wendy? Allegedly, that they parted ways? That was quiet. I wonder if that was a mutual decision or if this show had any negative impact. Oh, one more quick thing on Robyn. Apparently, allegedly, Robyn is pissed off at the blogger, at the producer, at whoever that shared their text messages with Candice. I don't know how many times I have to say this. This is why I laugh when reality stars get upset with certain YouTubers or whatever that don't sing their praises. For a lot of these people, you guys, they have loyalty to nobody. And especially if somebody's messy to begin with, they're not going to care whether or not you consider them a friend. If they feel that they can add something to the show and shake things up and add some messiness, they're going to do it. And I actually have a feeling I know who it was. Because there is one person who for sure comes to mind that immediately would share any type of message that is messy about somebody else because they don't care. They have loyalty to nobody. They don't care about being two-faced or being a hypocrite or what have you. So I wanted to do that. Also, Nneka has been fired as well. I think, honestly, she could have came back a second season had her focus not been on Wendy. And I think this is the problem now that the new girls struggle with on these shows, especially on Bravo, is they come into the show either trying to be best friends with the quote-unquote star of the show or the person that they feel is making all the decisions on the show or has the most influence, allegedly, with production and the network to hire and fire people. Or they latch on to one person in particular and make that person their entire storyline for the season. Therefore, the audience does not really get to know them truly as an individual because the focus of their storyline is, like I said, either the one person, which primarily in this case was Wendy, or a situation to where, like I said, if they're specifically coming on the show to be buddy-buddy with Giselle or coming on the show specifically to be buddy-buddy with Karen or Candice or whoever, if that is their claim to fame, if that is what they think is going to, keep them on the show, they're in for a rude awakening. Right? They're in for a rude awakening. And so, unfortunately, Bravo, NBC Universal said, thanks, but no thanks. We do not need you anymore. And so then finally, the last thing I wanted to get to was, a part of the reason why we finally have some information, some intel as to why Candice potentially quit the show. And that is because she has announced that she is pregnant. She's expecting her first child with her husband, Chris. So let's talk about it. So a couple of quotes from Candice.
is the following. It says, quote, I am about 13 weeks, so just about into the second trimester. It has been weird, but also really wonderful. I think to keep it kind of to ourselves at this point, our immediate family knows. My mom, I told my mom on her birthday in February. My dad knows. Chris's parents know. My siblings know. And that is my core. Best friend group, but outside of that, it has just been like quietly just growing a bond, right? And so you'll remember on the show, Candice has said, you know, that she had wanted to grow the family and all of the things, right? And then also said that, you know, she was content to have them just sit there until her quote unquote cutoff date. But then she got the itch. She always wondered, like, how would I know when I was ready? And I always felt like a part of my anxiety was I wasn't sure that I would know. And when I knew, it was undeniable. And then she further says, I kind of woke up and realized that I was never going to be 100% ready. I just had to trust the process and trust my doctors and stop being afraid and just do it. So once we decided together that we were going to do that together, it was all kind of just moving by faith from there. And then also Chris spoke and said, you know, that's something I got to keep in mind as we go through this process, that I've done this 3 times already. This is her first time. I've got to make sure for me that I stay engaged. Oh my. Because I've got to be super supportive for her, and she's going to need all of that all the way through. So that's kind of what I'm looking forward to, just to share it and experience it with Candice and to see where it goes. At the conclusion of Candice's interview, also what is said is Candice, regarding, you know, her future child to be, I'm excited to just support them in whatever they want to do. What were we watching? Something about like kids playing soccer or sports or something. And I thought to myself, like, oh my gosh, what if my son or daughter wants to play football? I'm not an outdoor person. I'm not a sports person. I can only tell you that there's a touchdown happening. But if my kid wanted to play football, I would get a big mosquito net and be outside, you know, cheering and yelling and ready to fight the referee. So I am just excited to meet them. So congrats to Candice. So this adds a little bit more context for me as to why Candice made the quick decision to quit. And for those people who think Candice was fired, I don't believe that Monique was fired from Real Housewives of Potomac, and I don't believe Candice was fired from Real Housewives of Potomac. One, for Monique, they would have wanted to, you know, deal with the aftermath of the fight, right? To see whether or not Monique could successfully resolve things with Candice or what have you, or still get integrated back into the group. Also, Candice, I feel that she's pregnant, this would have been a portion of her storyline, right? And then also, as well, whether or not things could rebuild with, you know, Giselle, right? Without Robyn. Or what, right? Or if her and Wendy would have finally like really teamed up, her, Wendy, and Karen, and dominate the show, right? And put the show on their back. But I get it from Candice's perspective. She probably doesn't want to go through a stressful pregnancy, especially with all the fertility things and things that she's been through. Not wanting to deal with any stress or drama with Giselle while filming, right? Or deal with any negativity or chaos, or her desperately still trying to get Giselle's attention, and Giselle is giving the mute challenge, right? So I totally understand now more than ever why Candice quit. At first I thought it was, you know, basically because she was talking to a brick wall, and Giselle and Robyn, but her being pregnant definitely doesn't want to deal with all of that while trying to film a reality show basically designed to instigate different arguments and drama and so forth. She doesn't need the additional stress, right? And then finally, I didn't talk about this when it first was announced, I believe like a week or so ago. It came out that Wendy's house was burglarized. Somebody like stole some things, stole some jewelry and all these things. And it reminds me of Dorit's storyline from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, where she alleged that her home was broken into and they stole a whole bunch of valuables. It is giving storyline because I have no idea where this came from, right? But as of now, we have not heard, that Wendy is not going to be back on Real Housewives of Potomac. So I presume that she is, unless an announcement is coming at some point soon, right? So there is that. So let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments. What do you guys think about Robyn confirming that she was fired from the show was a network decision, is pissed at a blogger for leaking her text messages to Candice where she's talking smack? What do you think of Johns Hopkins severing ties with Wendy? What do you think of that? Because that was pretty quiet. What do you think of Wendy also saying her home was burglarized? Do you think it's legit, or do you think it's for a storyline? Also, what do you think of Candice announcing her pregnancy and giving a little bit of context as to why she ultimately quit the show? Because definitely her storyline for the following season would have been documenting this pregnancy journey and really explaining to people who have had fertility issues, and also talking about the dynamics of dealing with somebody who also has already had kids from previous, relationships and all of that, right? And how all of that is going to come together. And then also, finally, what do you think of Nneka getting fired? Like I said, had she came in really trying to showcase herself and her family and what she brings to the table as a housewife, I think she would have definitely been back for a following season. But like I said, latching on to this whole Wendy thing, on whether or not Wendy knows her, and just all of the chaos that ensued, it just never was going to work, right? Because they want to see you as an individual. They do not want to see anymore these quote-unquote alliances, which I'm happily, finally, Bravo has gotten the hint that these alliances are not, what they think they are, because ultimately it allows the person to hide their truths, hide their real storylines in favor of just focusing on another housewife to latch onto, right? So there is that. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you're notified the moment I post new content on my channel. And with that being said, I'll talk to you guys again very soon.